I'm Can you check once?
No, it's not showing me go live option yet.
Okay. Just give me a thumbs up.
Yes, it is there.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It's wonderful to have you all here today for this exciting live session hosted by PMO Global Institute and the PMOGI Middle East community. We're really thrilled to have you join us as we dive into an important topic, how PMOs can master critical skills in the age of AI. I'm Sanjana and I'm working closely with the communities here at PMO Global Institute. It's great to be with such a diverse and enthusiastic audience. Before we jump into things, we'd love to know where you all are joining us from, so please drop your location in the comments. It's always amazing to see how far-reaching and connected our community is. So today's session promises us about the wide landscape of AI, which will be both insightful and interactive. We'll kick things off with an engaging presentation by Mr. JT Lone, followed by a Q&A session where we'll exchange ideas and get to know a lot more about the world of AI and how we can develop critical skills in this age of AI. But before we get started, here's something to look forward to. At the end of this session, we'll be running a fun and thought-provoking quiz. So make sure you stick around till the end with us, and you'll be able to win a one-year elite membership with PMOGI, which is worth $89, and it will be a great, insightful resource for you. And all the details on how to participate will be shared later. So stay tuned and don't miss out on this quiz and a chance to win the great one-year elite membership. So moving ahead now, it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Mr. JT Lone, Director of PMO and Digital Transformation at Abu Dhabi Securities Exchange. Mr. Lone brings a wealth of experience holding an MBA and PMP certification and has a proven track record of driving PMO success across organizations. His expertise in project management and AI adoption make him the perfect guide for today's topic. A very warm welcome to you, Mr. Lone. So now, moving ahead, and I hand over the floor to Mr. Lone for his presentation, and I think everyone will be looking forward to this great insight and thought-provoking sessions into AI. Yes, Mr. Lone, over to you.
All right, thank you, Sanjana. Thanks for that kind introduction, and thanks everyone for joining. I know it's probably working hours for most of us, so thanks for taking the time out. Listen, the purpose of today's presentation is not going to be about how great AI is and the different technologies that exist within AI and all of that. We know it. We see it every day. It's happening around us. What I want to concentrate on is some easy, actionable learnings that PMOs can focus on in the fast-moving world of AI. Okay, so it goes without saying we're at a crossroads right now, a historic crossroads in terms of AI technology. AI is transforming not only the way we deliver projects, but how we're defining value for our organizations. Right? Listen, it should not alarm us that we don't, that we don't know all of the intricacies of how AI is going to be impacting the different technicalities of our different functions. In our case, PMOs and all that. We know a lot of changes happening, a lot of changes coming. But what should be concerning to us is whether we're truly understanding the impact, a broader level impact on PMOs that AI is bringing in, right? So whether we are going to adopt AI in a defensive posture, meaning reactionary, or are we going to take this as an opportunity and actually look for AI as something that can enhance our capabilities and help us elevate what the PMOs do, right? Those are the things that we're going to concentrate on. And listen, all of us, if someone's telling you that they're an expert in AI and PMO and how project management should be run through AI, they're probably doing they're probably doing an injustice here to say that there's experts that exist that do this. All of us are going through the journey together, myself included. Our teams over here were at a very early stage of trying to get into what AI means for us and what we should be concentrating on. So I'm very interested in making sure that we bring things to an understandable level, practical level, where we can find what the actionables are for us, right? Not everything has to do with bringing a brand new solution in, and everyone talks about spending money on some solutions that all of a sudden projects are going to happen by themselves. PMOs are going to manage things by themselves. So we need to start thinking about how we can use the resources we have currently in our organizations, and how can we leverage AI to the best of our capabilities, right? So, PMO is no longer just a center of excellence in reporting or governance and reporting, I should say. It is evolving. It is becoming a strategic nerve center, the intelligence center for the organizations. And that's up to us as to how we, mold ourselves in this AI environment and use it to our advantage, right? If we look at what PMOs have been accustomed to in the past, where we have the governance and reporting and the processes and the procedures and all of that, it's brought us to this point, but it's not going to be what takes us forward, right? So we need to see that shift happening, that what is it that AI is going to be taking over easily, and what are the things that AI can't take over, and where we need to elevate the human element of those things. And I'll get into some of those details before we end this. Before going into next slide, before going into some of this on the next slide, I'd like to remind those that are in this region. I'm in the Middle East region. I'm in UAE. I know there's colleagues in Saudi and Qatar, and I know people from India, Nepal, different places joining in. For this region, it is so important to get on top of what the AI brings to the table, how PMOs can manage it. So, for example, UAE is spending about 3.5 billion US dollars in becoming the world's first fully AI native government by 2027. They've partnered up with OpenAI, the founders of ChatGPT, and launching the Stargate UAE program, where 1 gigawatt of AI computing cluster will be created in Abu Dhabi. Similarly with Saudi, with Qatar, they're all on their own journeys. Qatar with Scale AI, Saudi Arabia has launched their AI index, readiness index, where they're doing the benchmarking from there. So everyone is moving towards that, and PMOs sit at that middle of that transformation, and it's going to be those PMOs that can adjust, mold, and move on that become impactful and critical for the organization. This is a quote from a leading AI academic, Thomas Davenport. The fear that we have right now is, everyone takes a look at AI coming in as a job security issue in all different functions and departments, especially in PMOs. But I like how Thomas Davenport put it. He said, AI won't replace managers, but managers who use AI will replace those who don't, right? So keep that backdrop in mind, that it's the people aspect of things. What do we as individuals in PMO, how do we utilize AI? How do we enhance our own values in our teams and to the organization? That's going to be the game changer. So just touching briefly upon, the kind of things that AI will be taking over. This should come as no surprise, right? So Sanjan, just the slide number 4, please. So here is where, we know that in the next couple of years, AI is really going to take over status reporting and dashboarding, the routine tasks that we do, identifying risks and doing the initial triage of these, forecasting for variance alliances, all that kind of good stuff. This is easy for AI to do. Anyone that's using it, I know our teams are using it, different teams have started to use this, where tools like Forecast AI is doing automation of scheduling now. Liquid Planner doing predicting risks and optimizing resources done by tools like ClickUp. So these things are there today. They're going to start being utilized more and more. So the lower mundane tasks are the tasks that are going to be taken over by AI. Right? Machine learning models will surface likely risks and telemetry historical information. So a lot of stuff that we used to spend analysts sitting there and doing, this stuff will start to get done by AI, right? So continual forecasts and root cause signals, all these kind of things are going to be getting taken over by AI. So these are what I call the low level tasks that we and PMOs have spent a lot of time on traditionally. So this is again, this is not something that's a surprise to anyone, right? This is happening in front of us, and what I posit is start to mold yourselves to actually welcoming AI and taking these forward. So in the next slide, we'll start to get into the kind of things that we should be elevating ourselves in, and we should be concentrating on, which is, the human element of things. So the things that still require human expertise, right? Of course, strategic judgment and portfolio prioritizations, stakeholder management, problem solving, ethical oversight, and so on, right? So AI can provide us scenario analysis. It can do all kinds of computations, but what it can't do is it can't weigh political trade-offs or corporate strategy nuances, ethical choices, the things that humans do. This is where human beings are required. This is why PMOs and people involved in PMOs are so important. The art of, and I call it the art, not the science, of influence and negotiation, persuasion and coalition building, and so on and so forth. These are things that require dealing with ambiguous constraints, right? Trade-offs that require human synthesis. So these are things that we need to start elevating and concentrating on, right? There's enough tools, like I said, that AI will replace, enough functions that AI will replace. These are functions that AI cannot, or at least easily in the foreseeable future, replace. And this is where we need to up our game in the PMOs and take it to the next level, right? So, concentrating and enhancing our game on some like trustworthy AI governance, okay, accountability design, and interpreting different models and how fairness and privacy comes into the picture, right? We in PMO, we traditionally are, will continue to be the governance stewards of the organization. So we have to now shift a lot of our focus on establishing boundaries where human judgment prevails over automation, right? We have to be the ones that validate AI results and the models. You do searches now, and if those of you who are using a lot of these ChatGPT and Gemini and these tools, the results come back from these early models that are that have a lot of errors in it, because it's just it's using whatever data I can find and it just spits it out. So this is where there's a lot of focus that needs to go into making sure that we validate whatever outputs we're using from AI. Right? There's a lot of emphasis now, especially in this region, many regions around the world, on ESG concerns. So massive energy impacts. We talk about the 1 gigawatt compute center that UAE is going to be establishing with OpenAI, but that requires a lot of energy. So what Stargate UAE is about is establishing green data centers. So focusing on energy efficient ways of doing the high compute jobs, right? These things, this national, local considerations that AI cannot decipher as human beings can. So the vision for UAE 2031, Sorry, I'm a bit biased towards UAE because I function here. I've been here for 10 years, so don't mind if I give examples of UAE here. Saudi Vision 2030, the nuances of how the leadership wants things done. If AI was to spit out results that something is happening in Australia, but we have a different cultural nuance over here, those things need to be vetted by individuals, and that's where PMOs really can add value, right? The nice quote here from Max Taggart. He's an MIT professor, and he says that AI promises many incredible benefits, but the reckless and unchecked development of increasingly powerful systems puts our economy, our society, and our lives at risk. So this is a pretty stark warning from someone who is in a leading, cutting-edge, educational institution, MIT, focuses on AI, and they're the ones warning us of this, right? Another one from, I put a quote here from JobRight. This is an organization created by two gentlemen, Eric Chang and Ethan Zhang, both of them, one coming from Carnegie Mellon, and the other one from University of Hong Kong, who's a PhD in AI. And this second quote that you see is directly from them, okay? Where managers and leaders are irreplaceable because of the ability to inspire, empathize, make strategic and ethical decisions in uncertain and complex situations, and so on and so forth. So you can tell that experts, technical experts in AI who are busy developing the next stages of AI are clearly seeing where the human element is so important in this, which AI will not be able to replace, right? So we need to keep this in mind. I like to think of PMO as the Rolls-Royce company. Rolls-Royce company is about 120 years old. So much technical advancement has happened in the 120 years, where you don't need a person to do anything to a car to get it on the assembly line and get it into people's homes. But Rolls-Royce is synonymous with quality, class, and the highest standard of workmanship. And they are also synonymous with their human touch in their cars. So there's a lot of components in the cars that still require human beings to build there, and that's become their identity, right? So this is how I kind of see PMO, that you can bring technology in, you can bring AI in, and you can ease your tasks or the cumbersome nature of your tasks by using AI, but no one can replace you as a person and your skill set that comes with you, right? So always consider this when someone's saying that, oh, it's going to be obsolete or project manager going to be obsolete. That's simply not the case, because it's such a human business that we're in, right? So this is just the kind of touching on what are the things that we should concentrate on. So just to tie it up in the next slide, we're also overwhelmed, with how do we tackle something? Where do we start? So this is where, this is my own kind of idea of if you are starting off in your PMOs and kind of forming them to tackle the challenges that are going to be in front of us by technology. Look at it from, what do you need to do from, today until the next 12 months? Simple things that you should concentrate. Simple to say, but if you don't make it a prerogative to make sure that you implement these, they become harder. But in the next 12 months, look at automating repetitive tasks. Don't wait for someone to come into your PMO and tell you that, what, I will come and automate it by using this AI solution. Become that catalyst for change to bring AI capabilities in, so you can free up more time and automate repetitive tasks. Like I said, dashboarding, identifying risks, and looking at forecasts for financials and all that. Be the person that brings this in. Be the PMO that actually adopts this. It will add a lot of value to the organization. They will see that you are utilizing AI without going in the market and purchasing anything fancy to do this, right? I'm a big proponent of excelling in prompt engineering. Again, this is something that has new field of study that's come in because of ChatGPTs and all of these, that what you ask and how you ask an AI engine your query, that's the kind of results you're going to get back. So there's a whole field of study that started on prompt engineering. So I'm heavily focused on find courses. There's enough experts out there now who are helping helping any organization hone their skills on how you do prompt engineer, right? Upskilling your data literacy, right? So you need to be able to look at data science and how to read the results that are coming from AI, be able to extrapolate those, be able to explain those to senior management. So data literacy is important. You have to, no longer those days that, a techie is going to be sitting there deciphering this. PMOs, if you want to add value to your organizations, you need to start cross-training yourself. Then going, second year onwards, the next year, you start building AI governance structures, right? How do you look at the policies and procedures, your third-party vendors who may be coming in with AI solutions? How do you bring oversight into that? How do you audit that? So bringing that framework in, a lot of organizations are struggling with this because it's so new. Governments are struggling with it, struggling with the laws of how to control AI. So, we're all kind of witnessing that day in, day out in the news. So for PMOs, you need to start producing policy and procedures to govern AI as well. Redesigning of roles, right? So, a great way for PMO to show its value in this changing world is if you focus, the analysts that used to do the analytic jobs and producing dashboards and all that, if now you start to cross-train them, actually get them more into the project management aspect of it, or more of the human communication aspects, start to cross-train so one person can do a lot of things and AI covers the mundane stuff for you. So redesigning that side of things, bringing data scientists, business SMEs under one product environment where you can collaborate and be able to use this, right? Cross-functional teams, like I said, the more you can show value of one PMO resource that goes across functional or skill lines, the more you're going to be successful and invaluable to your organization, and you'll reduce headcount. At the same time, you'll increase value in that, right? And for longer term, again, institutionalizing the human in the loop design, where there's so much out there that is being churned out by AI and ChatGPT and all of these tools. You need to have some checks and balances of how something gets approved to get in front of someone. I've seen this where we fall into the laziness of PMs just getting a project charter, for example, created by using ChatGPT or using some of these tools and not vetting it and validating the results in there and putting it in front of an executive audience. It can really turn out to be it can burn you. So you have to do your due diligence in validating the results. These models are not as sophisticated as we think right now. They are learning from whatever they find online, and then they spit it to us. So human beings in the loop of decision making is critical, right? Evolve the performance metrics. You're no longer just looking at throughput. Okay, you're looking at measuring influence, outcomes, adoption, and ethical compliance concerns as well. So these are things you concentrate on. Like I said, keep on enhancing your prompt models. These become really valuable. It becomes your currency at one point, where I know a lot of people share their prompts with each other because you have to go through a lot of experimentation to get to a really solid prompt that you can use and get quicker results. All right. All right, I know I've gone on for about 20 odd minutes, but just to kind of bring things together, if there was one skill, guys, everything that I've talked about that we need to concentrate on, that we need to focus on, it all focuses and kind of revolves around the umbrella of communication. We as human beings have this ability that if we can enhance our communication skills, by this, I don't just mean spoken communication or verbal or written communication. I'm talking about stakeholder management, different ways of making sure that we hone our skills in that. Conflict negotiations. How do we do prioritization of things? How do we deal with different stakeholders? All of this is under this umbrella of communication. We know who have been in this business for a long time that you can have a genius analyst or a project manager or PMO, forecaster or whoever. They can be very good technically, but if they can't get the attention of the stakeholders, everything they say really falls on deaf ears. So enhancing your communication skills, I'm a huge proponent of that. There are a billion courses out there. People like, courses live or in presence of a trainer, or you can do it virtually. You need to concentrate on that, but it matters that you put that to practice. You can have as many certificates or degrees that you want. It really doesn't amount to anything if you don't show it in your day-to-day project work or PMO work. PMO staff that can communicate well with all hierarchies of stakeholders become invaluable for the organization. This is something that it's not measured by the success of your project necessarily. This is measured by gaining the respect of the stakeholders. And stakeholders will speak volumes of that PMO that they can communicate with, that communicates with them well, that produces insights for them. You can use AI to help you in all of this, but at the end of the day, you have an innate ability to be able to communicate in a human term that a machine can't. So that would be one key thing that I would say that it really start to ramp up. It doesn't matter which skill set you hold in a project management environment. Okay. So I know I've gone on far enough. I've just put a slide in here, some of the courses that really popped out to me. If you want to check them out, you can take a look at these. Again, these are communication related, or there's so many others. Whatever suits you. The bottom line is you need to see how we can improve our communication. This is really the bottom line of how we become the differentiating factor between whether a machine takes over or human beings remain intact in that superior position in this mix. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just sum it up quickly, guys. Some
Yeah.
takeaways from here before we get into the Q&A. So just invest in sharpening your communication skills, like I said. Enhance your human skills and stakeholder management, conflict resolution. These are all in the umbrella of communications. We take them as soft skills. These are really hard skills, and those who are really good at this, they're the ones that stand out from the pack. So this is important for you to do, and leverage AI to introduce efficiencies. If you curtail away from leveraging AI just because you don't want to bring in technology that may take a job away, trust me, it will take over. So bring it in to bring efficiencies, and then cross-train people to make it the best use for yourself and your organization. Right? Be at the forefront of the adoption of AI. That's a critical thing. All right, I think I'll stop here. I think I've talked enough, and if there's any questions, we can go through those.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lone, for that incredibly insightful and thought-provoking presentation. The way you explained how PMOs can navigate the AI landscape was truly eye-opening. I'm sure everyone here has learned something new and that they can take back to their teams and implement in the upcoming age of AI. I think now we can jump into the Q&A session where we'll dig in a little more deeper.
From an internal point perspective, the security team, the cybersecurity team in Excel.
Yes, I think the first question here, I'll just jump into the Q&A session, and we can start with something I think that's on every PMO leader's minds these days. So, Mr. Lone, the first question here would be like, what are some practical ways PMOs can enhance their value to the organization by adopting AI?
Yeah, guys, like I said, and I've touched upon this, right? Enhance your skills. Enhance your skills in what AI is producing for you. Become aware of how to use AI, how to use ChatGPT, your prompt skills, start enhancing those skills, become multi-skilled, okay? Be able to decipher data. It is important to go and, get out of your comfort zones that, you needed a data analyst to be able to, you would need to extrapolate data from AI. You need to be able to explain it, rationalize it. So, with communication, enhancing your communication skills, you need to start enhancing your AI skills as well, right? So, and again, you can do it in different ways. There's a billion resources out there to do this, but get started with something and start using it in practice. If you don't use, for example, ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot or anything for anything, start using it. I don't like to bring out 10 different tools for people to do that may not be accessible for them, that the organizations may not agree with. Use the stuff that is at your fingertips. Start with that, and then you will know exactly what you need to hone in on the next level.
Surely, Mr. Lone. I think that's absolutely right. And I'll pick up a question from this thing as well, that with the imminent number of tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Microsoft Copilot, all of these becoming more and more common. So how can PMOs and project managers avoid becoming too dependent on them? Like
Yeah.
they do not bring it in their daily usage, or they can have a very nice fine balance between leveraging technology and maintaining control. So I think everyone here, the entire audience, would love to hear your take on this.
Yeah, listen, it's I call it AI laziness. It's very easy now to just say, oh yeah, I'll prepare a presentation. I'll just I'll just give a few prompts into ChatGPT and pull something out and just kind of skim through it. And okay, I'm ready to go. That's the dangerous part of it. You can really do injustice to yourself and the organization. You have to validate. So, you have to be the gatekeeper of what AI gives you. If you use AI, responsibly and put in the work, when I'm doing, when I put a prompt in and I get results from it, my first reaction from that is, okay, I'm going to go and check the sources, check all of it, that everything checks out or not. A lot of times, for example, I created the slide for the different courses you guys can take, right? I got that from AI. The first 10 links that it sent me, 7 of them were dead links. They didn't go anywhere. If I had not gone in, checked, because I wanted to check the agendas, I wanted to check what the course is about, I would have given you something that is garbage in, garbage out, right? So this is what I'm saying, that you need to be, enhance that human element of validation and making sure that get good at getting good prompts into AI. That's the first step. So the results that are coming back are good. But then at the same time, once it comes back, do not just blindly go into it. Validate it, look for references. Every prompt that you go, ask it to give you verifiable references so you can go and trace it back. That will enhance your knowledge. And it'll make sure that the final product that you're coming up was good as well. And another danger of AI is our mind shuts down when we're asking the computer to do something. It takes your creativity away. So don't lose that human element. Always remember that, make sure it's your own product, but AI is just helping you with it. So it takes a longer time, it takes more work to do, but that's what's required if you want to bring the human element advantage into this.
Thank you, Mr. Lone. I think this is a lovely take on and a clearer picture for people who want to integrate AI and all of these tools into their daily processes. So I think that also brings me to another question related to this only, that of course, integrating AI into existing processes isn't always smooth sailing. And that brings me to this question, that what are the major and the biggest challenges PMOs specifically face when trying to integrate AI into their current and existing running processes?
Yeah, that's a good question. Listen, there's a saying, you can't fit a square peg in a round hole. AI is great. You have to look at the culture of your organization. It's very important. If you bring to an organization something that they're not ready for, or something that you're going to have a lot of resistance, you're going to have a really good idea that's going to fall flat. So you need to be able to gauge what kind of appetite your organization has to this kind of change, and do it in small doses, do it incrementally so they can actually see the results before you start bringing a lot of AI. Because, there's, in our region, there are a lot of organizations, especially government, semi-government type organizations that are really entrenched in the old ways of doing things. There's a lot of organizations that are still doing paperwork type stuff. You try and bring transformation of AI just because everybody's doing it, you're going to have a really hard time. You're going to be, as we say, revving in neutral. So make sure that you're looking at the cultural elements of that, and also look at your tools and solutions that you have currently. Do these solutions, the AI solutions that are coming, do they fit in? Do they easily fit in? There's a lot of organizations that have existing tools and they don't use AI. And now if you're going to come and tell them, you know what, let's slash this that we spent a couple of million on over the past few years, just because I want to bring in a new AI tool, you're again going to, bring resistance. There are ways of introducing AI into the PMO work without introducing new tools. You can leverage tools with your existing solutions, but introducing new stuff, shiny stuff, just because now everyone wants AI and there's budget for it, may be the wrong thing to do. So, my advice would be do it incrementally, do it in small doses, show the results, and then you'll get the buy-in.
That's a really amazing take on the uh, I think the most sought after question these days. I think I have many questions actually in the chat box and the comments. But as there we have a time constraint as well, I think Mr. Lone, I found out just came across one very interesting question from Mr. Raju, which is when AI can manage the data, schedules, reports, how will the PMO prove its unique value in mastering the project strategy, people, and purpose? Could you please elaborate with practical examples?
Yeah. So I think this is right down the alley of what I've talked about initially, that the low-hanging fruit for AI are your dashboards, your schedules. It can identify risks. It can give you a big list of risks and issues. It can do your forecasting for financials and all of that kind of. That is all the stuff that we've been doing ourselves in PMOs by human beings that AI can now easily do. It's a matter of whether we adopt the AI to be able to do that, right? What it can't do is sitting down with stakeholders and prioritizing on which projects need to be taken up first because you have only a finite number of resources. It cannot do what a stakeholder number one is a very aggressive character. A stakeholder number two is a very mild character, and how to give information to the different types of stakeholders, AI will not be able to decipher. If it produces a dashboard in whichever way it does, it will go to everybody the same way. But you will run into problems where you need to massage the story, right? And that's the human element nuance of it. So that's why I said all this is under the communications umbrella. How you do stakeholder management of 10 individuals, it could be 10 different ways you're doing it. You need to be able to create that rapport and understanding with them. It's hard work. This is a human-to-human touch work, right? So the PMs, PAs, analysts who are really sought after are the ones that can navigate by using their ability to communicate in different ways. How do you negotiate? How do you do conflict resolution? You're dealing with vendors all the time. I was on a call before this where there was a bunch of yelling and screaming going on back and forth between project teams, right? So how you navigate through those intricacies, that is determined by how well you're honing your communication skills. And everyone is different, right? My style may be different, someone else may be different, but bottom line should be that we're moving forward, we're adding value, and removing friction, right? AI is not able to do this. AI will not be able to play this role, right? This is a role that is expected of human beings. And if, unfortunately, majority of project management resources that exist today, we concentrate on a lot on, oh, I can do, the best project plan on MS Project. I can do the best this and the best that. All technical type things that AI is well set up to do. What they're really bad at, and when I'm looking at folks, for example, if I'm hiring somebody, I'm simply looking at how are they communicating with me? are they able to get across to me? Do they have the potential to improve their communication skills and all of that, right? And by communication skills, I don't mean that you need to be excellent in English or Arabic or Hindi or whichever country you're in. It's the ability to be succinct, ability to be interactive, ability to get your point across in a way that everyone understands it and is willing to work with you and you know and find that value in you. So it's a bit of a long-winded answer, but I think the same kind of things that I was talking about in the slides as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Lone. I think Mr. Raju's query must have been cleared in a very great way. I think there were a few questions, but I think we are running out of time. So I'm sorry to the audience that we won't be able to take many questions, but we will come across each of your queries soon. I think Mr. Lone or us can very well get back on the comments and clear everyone's queries. So moving ahead, I think this was a great Q&A, which was very, very informative. And I thank Mr. Lone and to everyone for sharing their thoughts so far. It's like this kind of collaborations and meetings that make the community also very great and special. So now it's time for the quiz, actually. So I'll just jump into the quiz. You'll see a QR code on your screen. So please scan it and jump right in. The winner will be announced immediately. So please stay tuned. Once you win, please drop your email ID and LinkedIn ID in the chat box so we can send you your reward of your 1-year free elite membership by PMOGI. So give me a moment. I'll just share my screen for everyone and then we can get set ahead for the quiz. Everyone will see a QR code on their screens. So please just scan it and you can get in the quiz quickly. So sorry for the delay. I'm just starting the quiz now. Yes. I hope everybody will be able to share the see the QR code. Please scan it and jump right in and be a participant. And we'll start the quiz immediately once we have sufficient number of participants. I'll just, I think, wait for a few more seconds and then we can go ahead with the quiz. And requesting the winner to please put in their LinkedIn ID and email ID in the chat box so that we can have a record and we can send you your prize. I think I'll start the quiz now. So the first question is on everybody's screen. You'll get 20 seconds to answer. So please put in your choice quickly. Yes, so we are done with the first question. And we have Hola at the top. So moving on to the next question. And I think Hola remains at the top. Moving ahead, we have a total of 10 questions. So please just everybody gear up and read the question and answer quickly. Time's up for this question. Oh, and we still have Hola at the top. Time's up. And you can see the results and still topping the charts. We're halfway, we're on the 5th questions, just 5 more to go. And we're halfway done, and I think everybody really needs to gear up to come at the top position and become a winner and win the 1-year elite membership. Oh, and still topping the charts is Hola. I hope just 4 questions left. Everybody just gear up. And we're at the last 3 questions. And we are still at the same topping charts. Next, last 2 questions to go. And everyone has answered, but the first position is not changing. And the last question here. This is the last question, everyone. And we're over with the quiz, and we can see the final winner here. We have the 3rd position to Geos, 2nd position to Ijni, and 1st position goes to the topper of the entire quiz, Hola. I think this was a great quiz. We had a very nice participation, and I would request Mr. or Miss Hola to please put in their email ID and LinkedIn ID in the chat box, be it in Zoom or in LinkedIn, so we can connect with you and go ahead with the process. And I think moving ahead, we can wind up this webinar, which was really insightful. And I really want to extend a heartfelt thank you to Mr. Lone for sharing his expertise, and to all of you for joining us today. Your participation makes sessions like this truly impactful. We hope you take these insights back to your teams and continue to lead with purpose and passion. Thank you once again to everyone, and we look forward to seeing everyone in the next session. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.